Good morning. Good morning to everybody. I am Biswas, Academic Counselor of IGNU. And I have now presently associated with as a guest faculty, visiting faculty, and academic at various universities, and also as a guest faculty of the PowerGrid company, where actually I worked. And plus, in addition to that, my qualification and experience, I visited some international and national various countries. So for different purposes, for your training purposes, as an expert, I visited a lot of companies, a lot of places also. So now today, actually, here my subject is now MMPC 02, that is HRM. As you know that today, nowadays, HRM is very important for any companies or any industries, organizations. So now I have to go through these courses, materials, what are the subject here. So one by one. So the first slides you can see. That is actually structured way. That is that there are 4 blocks: block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. The first block is introduction to human resource management, and there are 3 units. And in the block 2, basically the sourcing of human resources, and there are your unit 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then your block 3, performance and the compensation management. There are 8, 9, and 10, 11 units are there. So this is the way. There are total of 14 units are distributed in 4 blocks. So all the important topics are here. Actually, you see from the first block, normally your concept and the evaluation of the HRM discussed, and what are the functions and what the environment of the HRM that is discussed in the block 1. It is will be covered in the block 1. Block 2, basically the planning and the job analysis and all this recruiting and selections and how socialization of the mobility of the employment for the employees, that has been discussed. And block 3, this is the performance of the composition of the management, because once you are recruiting the people are working in the company, so every yearly you have to see their performance. So that's why some appraisal system is there. And at the same time, subsequently, you have to see their career development also, because that is also very much required, training and development, and naturally the compensation and reward, salaries, wages are discussed in the block 3. Block 4, another important block is their employer and employee relationships, which are nowadays is very important part. So in Unit 12 and Unit 12 to Unit 14, everything are important. So this is the structure of the your human resource management courses. There is a new MBA courses basically. So slightly changes between the old and new. Nothing very much changes. Only it is a very latest database, latest important. What are the ingredients are all latest. So keeping on view of these things and the other scenario of the worldwide, so that has been included. So now now I go to block 1. You see the block on the introduction to HRM, first unit. The concept of when I started from here, you see everybody knows Mr. N.R. Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys Limited. He says we have to give a respect to the employees in the factory, but those who are working, you may not be the asset, it's asset of company. You have to protect them and give their dignity also. So he has written things. And among the five MS management, namely man, machine, man, money, machines, material, and methods. So HRM deals with the first aim, man, what we define. Actually, here, actually, in human resource management, we are dealing with the men. They are not in a product. Don't think it is a product. It is a asset of the company. So this is the way the modern HRM I can see it. So now next introduction to HRM. What is the HRM? We have to clear it. What is the HRM? HRM is the process of acquiring the developing, maintaining, retaining the human resources in the organizations with the strategic objective of achieving the organization goals. So we have to be very much careful about the things, the human resource management. What are the, and it should be a work first stage wise you see. First you have to acquire, naturally you have to as employment. Then after that you have to developing them. And human resource, what about your employees or manpower, that has to be maintained so that retention, attrition should not be more, and your total turnover should be same, and it should be retain the human resource. That is the main purpose of these things, objectives of the organization goals. So where the people are working, they are collecting, their collective contributor there. So this is the one of the main objectives. So collective workforce very much important. Then now we are going to some of the evaluation of the HRM. What are the stages as person during the last I think traditional system, actually the personal management system HRM evolved from the personal management. Earlier, what happened? People are family oriented work was there, so there are no very much maintenance. They can everybody know each others. So then slowly it is when the bigger and bigger lot of industrializations are coming. So it has been very much required for the how to manage, how to maintain the manpower. So Elton Mayo and FW Taylor all are the physiologists, all are philosopher, big philosopher and expert. They have significantly they have told all these things how to. And here actually the Mayo is the Elton Mayo is the founder of the human relations movement in 1920s. Just see, imagine how long it was there. He emphasized the influences of the human relations in the worker productivity. And here Taylor has developed a differentiated compensation system and the reward systems and how performance as 8 hours work, everything has been developed slowly. So, and everything are things are in a very scientific, that's why there is scientific management, because systematic way and considering the present scenario, so everything has been formulated. Now evaluation, there are different things are there. So evaluate it as for dissecting its components. First, you have to evaluate the what are the small part things, and so that you can have a idea. You can evaluate the you can pinpoint in the micro level. You have to evaluate the things. Then select the employees that had appropriate skill for a task. Then after that, when you are evaluating the things as a component wise, then you can select the people and you can send for these particular appropriate workers. Provide the workers with incentives and training to do the things as and use things to plan how workers perform their jobs. That is also very important. That is basically the science. You have to apply the science and plan accordingly what the way they are performing the jobs. That is very important. Another thing regarding the concept that you have to see that industrial revolutions when the initial period. That period was 1750 to 1850. That period was industrial revolution was there. Then after that, after the completion of the industrial revolution, then post-industrial revolutions has started. Now presently the scenario is a strategic human resource management approach, which are the technology is improved, where you have to very categorically The critical, what are the critical roles that you have to accomplish, and aligning with your individual goal as well as the corporate objectives also you have to fulfill. So this is the new scenario of the strategic HRM study. Uh, okay, that part is over. Now the stages of the development, the different stages, different the concept has given. Like the community concept where the worker working and the worker based things, you come and do the work and take the money, that type of things. Then, as a production concept, in the factory has come, there are so many, the production factory are there, how much you are working for 8 hours, this is the payment. So, somehow, some sort of things was there, but now those who are working in the small family oriented company or some small factories, now it has been, that concept has come to know, you have to see their wellness, you have to see it, their, to motivate the people, that part slowly it is coming. This is a paternistic concept has come. Just like your mother, as like a father in the home, he is looking after his children, same thing. So humanitarian countries are there because you have to, as a human being, have some dignity, some discipline is there, motivation is there, emotions are involved. So that part, that concept has come slowly. Behavioral challenge concept also coming. Then subsequently, then finally, that it is emerging the concept. The growing importance of the service in Indian economy has also highlighted the importance of the change in the approach, the personal and administrative requirements. The profile of an employee is a new scenario has the following features. Employees are mostly in their mind 20s. You see presently all the mid 20s are there, and the early the 30s. And the employees are basically all are educated employees are nowadays. The level of general awareness is also high. So employees are also committed to the basically their professions. They are committed rather than organizations. So the rate of attrition is also the level of mobility and employees among the organizations is high. Because when you are educated, the awareness will be high, the awareness is also high. So in this scenario, how to administrative part, personal empowerment, administrative part is challenging. There's a lot of basic challenges how to cope up with the situation when you are dealing with the relatively high educated levels. Now the some HRM objectives and the functions are tabulated here. Societal objectives are there. Here the supporting functions are legal compliance, benefits, union management relations are there. Then your operational objectives, again, some of the supporting functions are there. Planning, employee relations, selection, training, development, appraisal placements, all these are there. Functional objectives are there, the appraisal, placement, assessment are there. Then personal, individual or personal, you can see it. That is the training and development, appraisal, placement, compensation, and assessment are there. So next you see one of the diagram has given that is integrated or connected between all the other functional areas, subsystems, with finance, your material subsystems and technology and marketing. This is the way it has connected. The importance of HRM can be discussed in the four levels: corporate level, professionals, social, and the national levels. So some of the significant of the corporate, attracting the people, retaining, planning, recruiting and selections, placement, orientations, compensations, and the promotional policies. All these are very significant for as far as concerned about the corporate significance. Developing the necessary skills and right attitudes should be there, and definitely the personal appraisal is also one of the major parts. securing securing the willing cooperation of the employees through the motivation. Grievance handling is another part. You have to redress all the grievances or complaints that has to be uh, clear and give a judgment or give some decisions. Utilizing effectively the available human resources. That means optimal utilization of the human resources is also important here. Then ensuring the enterprise will have a future team of the competent and dedicated employees. In future also you have to see, you have to make some team for competent and so that you can take some competitive advantage in the market anywhere. Professional significance is providing the maximum opportunities for the personal development of each employees. You have to give away some opportunity. You have to set some career programs. What are the after 3 years, 4 years, where you will be. So that type of and you have to give a opportunity basically to motivate them basically. So ultimately, all the things are retaining the people. How to retain the employee? This is the basic purpose. So we have to have it. You have to focus on this area. Maintaining healthy relationship between the individuals and different work groups. That is also that type of environment you have to create so that always some healthy relationships can be maintained. Allocating proper work properly because somebody should not be overloaded, somebody will be underloaded. So that condition you have to see it. Under basically the underutilization or overutilization sometimes it's a very dangerous aspect. So you have to maintain the things. Social significant area that is providing the suitable employment. You have to provide the suitable employment. Socially, you have to do it. Psychological satisfaction of the people is also required. Maintain a balance between the jobs available and your job seekers in terms of numbers, qualifications, leaves, and like this. Eliminating waste of human sources through conversation, physical and mental health also required. So by the counseling systems you can get this. There is a through conversation in the sense of your counseling part is there. National significance, human resources are there, management plays a vital role in the development of the nations because the some sort of government took some initiatives for development. So countries are under development because their people are backward. So there are the point to be noted here actually if all as said, management functions are universal in public and private organizations. So according to Simon also saying the management is the art of science of getting things done. All the philosophers they have thought about these things, how to develop your people. And if your people are developed, your country will be also developed. So that way the economy also to be attached with this, aligned with your country economy also to be improved. Scope of the HRM is considered the following functions: the setting the general and specific management policy for the relationship, establishing the maintaining a suitable organizations for leadership and cooperations. Another area is the collective bargaining, negotiations, contract administrations, and grievance handling is also here. Staffing, finding, getting the holding prescribed types and number of workers. So all are basically the function of the your HRM part. And another thing is self-development of the employees at different levels are also important. Developing the maintaining the motivation of the workers. Then you're reviewing and auditing the manpower management. Here actually I can see the auditing basically is required. The things are moving in as per the set objectives or not. What are the top management has decided that objectives is fulfilling or not. So that's why the audit part is there. Reviewing is also there. Industrial relations again is another area where you have to study, explain the employee's behavior and thereby affecting the improve the manpower management. So industrial relations has to be also that research has to do where your behavioral patterns and all things are at par with the disciplinary parties. Then the scope of the very wide because HRM was very wide. It studies various aspects which are as follows: labor or personal aspect there. It is concerned with manpower planning, recruitment, and your selection, placement, incentives, productivity, etc. are the personal aspect. And the welfare aspect is that this aspect the concern with the working conditions and the amenities. What are the condition of the things or everything are there. As per this, for industrial law is there lot of act are already implemented. Lot of acts are there, industrial activities are there. So that has to be followed by everybody. And industrial relation aspect, if you see the company's relations with the employee, then including the union management relationship, settlement of the industrial disputes, that is very main area, major area, where we are growing and as a developed countries. So those who are in the developed countries or underdeveloping countries, so the industrial disputes are always there. That has to be settled in a very bilateral discussions. Now, the nature of HR. The human resource management is a process of bringing people and organizations together so that the goals of each are met. It has the following features. Some of the features are here tabulated. I mean, mentioned here. Actually, I'm just talking about your integrating mechanisms. This is important very much. Comprehensive functions, auxiliary services, and the interdisciplinary functions, continuous functions, they all are towards to achieve the goal of work. So these things are important. So this is the features are some of the features are highlighted here. And then now we are talking about the components of the HRM. If you see it is a anatomy, we see the HRM is the anatomy, one of the body structures. So definitely have some of the components. So major components of the HRM here is the organizations and your planning and the systems. What are the human resources? The recruitment management, then information management, training management, performance management, all are listed components are the part of your HRD. So HRD is also one of the major area where the training and development are coming in under this HRD. So now the new areas HRA and your audit, accounting and audit HRA, accounting and HRA audit is also important part of the important component of the. Now, managerial functions. Now we are talking about the block two, block unit number 2. We are talking about first unit has almost covered. Now we are talking about the unit 2. That is your managerial functions. So planning, organizing, directing, and controlling is one of the major functions. Managerial functions. Operative functions, there are HR resources from where you are getting and how you are getting the sources, what type of planning for that job analysis, human HR planning, recruitment, selection, placement, then induction and orientation. Sequence wise as given. A to F, you see there are all are in a sequence. First you have to job analysis, then you have to plan something, how much manpower is required or not, interview process, then your recruitment, everything are in a planned way you have to do all these things. Performance and development also important because when your employee are there, so you have to see their growth, how to develop them, and to maintaining their day-to-day job cut, what are they are performing at part the objectives or not. So that part your personal advisor will project it. Training, management development, career planning, internal mobility, transfer, some promotion transfer, it may be a normal transfer, project oriented transfer. So that part is also to be under the performance development. And promotions, demotions, retention and the retrenchment, depending on the situation, you have to see how best you can do it. Because the retention you cannot, some things you cannot in your hand, because people are living some different purposes. So you have to try to be retained so that your people, so your employees should be in the office, they should feel happy. Another thing is change in organization development, because changing is a common phenomenon, because you cannot stop the changing worldwide in any stage of on the life and everything. There is a cycling, it is a dynamic things. Organization development is always a dynamic. It's economic statics. Today you are fixed something, you are planned everything, but it doesn't mean it will continue for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You have to be change it, modify it. So it is keeping on the present scenario, your organization development should be continued. Compensation management is another important area, because here you have to evaluate the things. The right people are really, they are getting the salaries are as per their qualification, as per their performance. That wage and salary administration is also a very important part. Incentives, bonus, French benefits, social, all are coming under the compensation management. Implications into employee engagement, then employee moral, the counseling, welfare, ethics, and HRM. So all are in the part of integration. While you can, integration basically means togetherness. You have to see, you have to engage the employee. Until unless you are engaged the employee, you cannot get the product, the result of the product, and you can increase the product also. So engagement is also important. Moral has to be also see that employees' moral should not be deteriorate, and the time to time counseling is also important. And employee relations, grievance redressals, as much as quickly you have to redress the grievances. What are the grievances are there that has to be sorted out as quickly as possible with the it should be by the set guidelines by the company. Every company they have some of the disciplinary, some of the guidelines are there, written regulations. Based on these, you have to sort out your grievance. Basically, the grievance handling part. Disciplinary management is also important. Union management, because the union management, basically the union are also the part of the employee benefits, their welfare. They are always thinking their employee benefit. This should not be, because the labor cannot talk to top management. So in between the union basically is the interface. They are doing the interface between the laborers, the low labor workers, line actions people with the top management. They are doing as an interface. Their viewpoint, they are passing to the management, and management is also decide accordingly. Now, emerging functions in HRM. Emerging functions, you see, apart from the above mentioned functions of HRM, now these are some emerging functions. Human resource management has been advancing at a fast rate, as you know. The recent trends in HRM include the strategic HRM, ethics and HRM, HR accounting, audit, research, international HRM, and HR outsourcing. All the areas are latest trends. You can say the trends of things. So this is the viewpoint current scenario worldwide, not only in our India. Worldwide, you have to keeping the views and focus on these areas. How to enhance your HRM functions, more quality point of view, how best you can give it, that area strategy part. Ethics is also important, because how to behave, the behavioral pattern, attitude of the employees are to be seen. Accounting is also important, because you see in the end of the day, people will see the growth comparing with your turnover, in a cost wise. So in the cost, HR cost, that has to be evaluated properly. Yes, that has to be justified. This much amount are invested for this particular employee, and he has given, in turn, he has given this much. So That is a part of the audit and the research also there. The database has to be prepared for it is really the database and for the research analysis because HR analysis are to be done so that we can see where the gap areas has to be identified and accordingly we have to take a quick actions so that we can take a correct decisions for the forthcoming projects are to be or it should be a beneficial. This should be a beneficial and more productive. That is the international HRM is also another part. Now, export, import, or you have to set up a new company or new office in the other countries. So, what are the barriers, international barriers that has to be seen, and what are the rule and regulations their countries, what are the guidelines that are to be and different way you have to prepare your manpower before deploying. The post training is also required. That part is basically your international HRM. Outsourcing, depending on your type of work and your capability or capacity, you can some of your work you can go give it to the consultant or some other agencies. They can give your jobs or you are required for your company. So the HR outsourcing also important recruitment. Nowadays the recruitment part, a lot of placement agencies are there. They are supplying the manpower, so that way you can reduce your time. Sometimes if you are not capable of doing so, so you can outsourcing the things. Now there are a lot of other verses also there. You can outsource the things. Again, it is a cost effective, and you have to see it. It should be beneficial for the company. The role and responsibilities of HR managers. Apart from the above mentioned functions at HRM, these are some of the emerging functions. HR resources management has been advancing at fast. So the recent trends of the HRM is ethics, HR accounting, and again it is things are to be seen. Now the primary responsibility of the human resource managers. As a manager, what type of quality you should have? That is a responsibility to develop and through the knowledge of the corporate culture, plans and policies. So as a HR manager, you should have a knowledge and you have to have a corporate culture and policies that all these things to be then only you can develop the other your subordinates other people to act as an internal change agent and the consultant. So you not only as a manager, you have to act as a in addition to that, you have to be change agent and consultant, where another additional responsibility is there. You have to foresee as a manager, you have to foresee that things are coming or where the proactive action has to be taken. And even though some of the things are happening, to how to tackle the situations. So that way the internal change agent is also important. You can select from your employee, existing employee, some of the those who are skilled and talented. You can select the people. Otherwise, you can go for the consultant. You can hire some of the consultant for this as a change agent. Initiate change and act as an expert and the facilitators. Actively involved in companies' strategy formulations. See, all these things which I am describing, these are the responsibilities. These are the primary responsibility of the HR. Even it's a manager for the manager's responsibility. So keep communication line open between the HRD functions and individuals and groups both within the outside in the organization. So communication is one of the main important things. You have to communicate the things. You have to develop the awareness of the things. So that this is the functions, this is the guidelines, this is the opportunities, this is the circulations or rules, whatever the things from the things. So all these things have to be communicated properly. Identify and evolve the HRD strategies. You have to evolve the HRD strategies and overall business strategy also. To facilitate the development and the various organizational terms and their working relationship with other teams and individuals, interventions, the conduct research. So all these things are to be needed. Try to and relate the people and work so that the organization's objectives are achieved efficiently and effectively. Diagnose the problems, determine the appropriate solution, particularly in the human resource areas, is very much important. To provide coordinations and the support services wherever it is required, and the delivery of the HRD programs and services also calendar wise. Particular the program will start from this type of the eligibility of the programs, who are to be trained, so everything are to be defined. To evaluate the impact of the HRD interventions or to conduct the research, so as to identify, develop, and test how HRD in general has improved the individual and the organizational performance. So this is that type of the quality or rest of the responsibility the HR managers should be. Now, emerging roles for the HR managers. There are some of the table of some flow diagram, block diagram has given. Administrative HR practices, legal compliances, forms, and the paperwork are things. It has to be operational actions. So, in a sequence way, it is given. Then, operational actions are managing the employees, relationship issues, and the employee advocate. Then finally your strategic HR organizational business strategies, HR strategies or planning evaluation of HR effectiveness. So here some of the roles are important. How to emerging that to see the changes. And sequence here actually you have to be careful about the main part, their strategic HR organizations. So there is a role how to play HR managers. It may not be possible for particular one person. Administrative part is one is the area where operational actions, another manager they have to appoint, they have to see the all the operation actions are fulfilling or not. Strategic HR also another HR people are conducting. So overall total HRM scenario. So this is the three steps are important so that you can manage everything. Now, making 7S framework model is a very important model. You see here there are corporate visions. Anywhere, any company, they have some of the visions or some of the companies after 5 years or after 2 years, where they are looking their company stand particular in positions. They are all this top management and the CEO level, they are deciding what should be the vision of the company. Every company has some visions. Now, how to relate? Now their HR soft assets. I mean the style, staff, skill, subordinate goals. These all are HR soft goals. You can see all are the soft goals. And as far as in the other side, you see the HR hearts, means strategy, structures, systems, where massive work is there. So define softer heart are written in this way. This is the style, staff, skill, normal way. There is no very much decision making or strategical part is very less. Normal way can be as per the things. But here actually is hard because lot of evaluations, lot of analysis part is involved. Lot of brainstormings, debating, bargaining part is there. Lot of effect, lot of things are to be calculated before go for the strategic part or structural changes or whatever it is in systems. So that's why it is in a HR hard sides. Now, ultimately, the business strategy. All these things are as an input. soft, HR soft and HR hard systems, what are the things that ingredients are for the input of a business strategy. And finally, the organizational effectiveness. And then you can get the organizational effectiveness. So, in other way, you can say the organizational effect, to get the organizational effectiveness, you should have a good business strategy. Number one. How it has been business strategy, the inputs are from the HRs. HR soft, HR hard, that all ingredients, whatever the inputs are there, then your business strategy will be, model will be good. So it is basically the McKinsey 7S framework model. Now functions. HR managers, what type of function they should have? I given in a italic diagram, intellectual manager should be intellectual. HR manager, he should be intellectual, educator, discriminator, executive, leader, humanistic, visionary. All these characteristics, or achievements, you can see it is very important as a present scenario. All the managers should have the things. You should be intelligent enough. You can understand the things, you can knowledgeable, and educator also. You can also teach the subordinate. You can discuss the subordinate nicely. Then he can immediately take the discriminatory. Immediately he can identify the which is the right, which is the wrong. That discrimination part, that type of capacity, capability he should have. Executive should be take a risk, take a decision. He can take a lead. As a leader, he can take a lead. He can go ahead. As a team, he can work. As a group, he can lead the group. Humanistic also. Humanistic in the sense he should have a kind enough, some of the emotions, emotional sympathy, empathy, all this part, that quality he should have. Also visionaries, keeping in view the visionaries, align with the corporate, in the company objectives to fulfill these things. What are the goals set by the things? That visionary should also have. How to come for that compiles for the complete the job. Always you have to keep it on this. The visionary, what is just already decided in mind. Now, strategy and the HR. The strategy is regarded to be more than decisions, because strategy is not a thing. What about the things you have? You have to quick decision into things. For real time decisions is very important nowadays. Choices and practices. However, regarding HR management is organizations, there are two basic types of strategy: a competitive business strategy, another way of human resource strategy. Competitive business strategy, basically you have to compare, involve the choice of the market, what are the other companies that they are doing, how they are based, where you can compare with the other companies, where where you are lagging, basically how to cope up the situation. Customer betterness, customer satisfaction part is there. It's all a competitive business strategy part is there. Human resource strategies that involve choice making regarding the management of the people within the organizations. So within the people, what are the organizations staff is there, how best you can do their welfare point of view, their health point, their salary point of view, the future point of view, their career growth, to reduce the attrition rate, turnover issues. So all these things are effectiveness also on part. So all are the universal strategy part of it. Ethics and your HRM, again, it's a parallel thing. It's a side by side. It's also required because practitioners, HR practitioners play the major role in the keeping and disseminating and enforcing the organizational ethics. Some area of the ethical misconduct involving HR activities are as follows: the compensations, employee relation, staffing, and equal employment. Because compensation, you have to give some good package. What are the things? What are the benefits? French benefits, HRA, education allowances. So this depending on the capacity, different level, that has to be revised. You have to see it. Employee relations is also very important because employees should not leave these organizations only the bad relations things. That part you have to see, behave, and should be feel happy always. That type of environment is also required. Stopping and the equal employment is also very important, because you see that there are men women ratios nowadays, it is increased. Women, the different age groups are there, senior, junior, different age group people are working. This is also very important part. HR outsourcing, the concept of the outsourcing is normally we term as a BPO, business process outsourcing. Outsourcing simply refer to the use of the another part of the or third party to carry out the various specific organization of the functions. Again, it is depending on the company to company. What are the area? Basically, in the service class people oriented company, they are doing for the some things where the some sort of consultation, some of the your services are required. So that here you can see for the outsourcing how to do it. Day and night, different shiftings are there, has to be shared. That concept are already worldwide is going on. Challenges faced by the managers. What are the challenges? The challenges facing HR managers are two perspectives, internal and external, and they are classified in three organizational challenges. These are the internal in nature, issues emanating from the organizations due to restructuring, organizational culture, outsourcing. You see, when there are any changes in the organizations, maybe due to structural changes, so there are some sort of downsizing the company or structural positional changes, or maybe due to promotion restructuring. So all these are a little bit affect in the internal nature of things, and uh, you have to deliberately you have to see it how best you can do it, and that is a really a challenge for the organizations. You have to feel happy to others also, and make the situation. Basically, what are the purpose of this behind it? That purpose has to be met. Environmental challenges are also there, because you see the because of the legislation, globalization part is there, and labor demand supply, and another aspect is your work diversity. That is all are challenges. Environmental challenges are there. This is a part of external part. This is the external part. Now, another things your individual challenges are the issues regarding the employees, how they are being treated, employee development, then insecurity and reward systems which affects the organizational performance. So this is all are the challenges. Basically, the HR manager challenge they have to face. The HR manager are facing all these problems. Organizational environment, and now the little bit the third unit, like touching the third unit, this is your environment. So environmental influences are factors that impact the HR operations, the organizations. What are the factors? The external factors are also there, and internal also. External is the government regulations, economic conditions, technological advancements, workforce. These things are economic factors, social factors. All are your external environment. And internal environment is basically compensations, employee relations, as we have said earlier. This all these internal factors has to be. If some dispute is there, some problem is there, then definitely it will create the disturbance in your environment part. So some of the things are external, and some of the factors are your internal. Strategic human resource management, again, these topics are coming because the approaches refer to ability. Basically, why the strategic human is required? Because the ability to capacity, the readiness of the management to make long-term planning, to make decisions. Here there is to be pointed out the long terms and action to achieve the organizational goals effectively. Strategic management incorporates organizational identifications, environmental analysis, strategic formulations, and strategic implementation, and strategic evaluations. So all these activities are part of your strategic management. International international human resource management. International. Now coming to the international. The concept of international human resource management is about managing human resources across international boundaries. Not only in the management of the expertise, but also in about the management of people worldwide. So, because you are sending somebody to work in other countries, so they have to expert, they have to skill enough, language wise, cultural wise. Otherwise it should not be happen after 1 year, after 6 months he is leaving this organization or he coming back to the home country. It should not be, because you have to equip. It is a critical management part nowadays, because in international human resource management you have to very much careful about before sending to or before posting. Before deploying, you have to have it equipped in all respect. Objectives of the organization's strives to achieve through the international human resource management are achieving competitive advantage in the global markets, achieving efficiency, meeting demands of international markets, achieving flexibility and adaptability, dynamic in short period. So all these things are your objectives of the, it should be objectives of the organization strives. International HRM functions, planning, hiring, staffing, same thing, because the domestic HRM and international HRM basic things are functions are almost the same. So nothing much differences. Only the training and the other some of the area only to be given because of the issues are globalizations issues, environmental impact, cultural differences. This is the area to be looked after, because otherwise other functions are almost same as we are national or your international. Other functions are remain same. So only this is the area you have to see, so that you can have a perform on other country nicely. You can adjust it, because you can adjust the local people or local areas, and their that environment has to be as early as possible. You has to adjust things. Now, phases of the development of HR analytics. The different phases of related development has come in. First phase, basically, your descriptive analytics helps in understanding the present situation of improving future decisions. Because first of all, you have to, it will give help for improving the future decisions. Second phase, correlation analytics helps in understanding the relationship between the variables or things. Because when you are getting first phase, then you have to go for further deviations, where the things are, what are the variables and how best you can do it. So all these things are database, and nowadays are through this correlation method you can perform the things. So it is a new development from the HR analytics part, and very accurately and correct figure you can get it from here. So basically, the decision making process will be faster, and you will get a good decisions. You can take it. The chances of wrong decision will be less. This if you go for the analytic parts. Futuristic, prospective, or predictive analytics is largely used for predictive HR decisions to get the deeper insights, so as to improve the decisions, better decisional outcomes in the third phase. So there are phases for your development HR analytics. Industrial revolutions and the HRM are also there. The first introduction, the machinery is second, industrial revolutions has come. Then third is digital environment. Now we are in this phase. And fourth is now this forthcoming. Now is coming for your digital area, robotic or artificial intelligence are also in. This is the revolution of your industrial part. Artificial intelligence and the introduction of science and technology is changing our personal life rapidly. Artificial intelligence is a technology that process and generate the result and previously collected data just like this. Transition phase is like this. So you need not to hurry. Everything will be autonomous systems are the automatic systems are there. So they are very advanced. Now in the area, in the HRM management, the functions where these algorithms and artificial can be applied effectively. Some of the areas streamlines process and enhance. The key area of the HR functions where the artificial intelligence is leading and influencing the area is the recruitment and onboarding, employee retention, and internal mobility. That automation and administrative jobs we can implement it. Already, some of the companies, artificial companies, are already implemented these things analytical way. So this is the area artificial intelligence are also helping tools for the new HRM, you can see the new HRM or strategic HRM. These are all some of the tools. So this is the way. Now I think my idea was that today for the completing the blocks for first block. So I have given some of the glimpses, some of the clips. I've try to show you so that you can have a idea of the things, what are the block one is contains, and finally you can go further the study materials, and you can have a lot of other books are there. You can go through these. So that is actually the I focus on some of the area, the HRM in the block one. So they are basically the concept. You have to first now I have to tell you recap the things. There is the concept that clears what are the functions are there, what are the component of the HRM, and what are the responsibilities should have, how it is aligned with the corporate objectives that have to see personal development. If you see the sequentially, any manpower you are recruiting, then you have to put them in some of the jobs. Then after that, you have to look after the maintaining the human resources. They are really working perfectly. Any problems you can help from the HR sides. And career planning is also important. At the same time, your environment is also to be good. Where they are working, that working place should be healthy. They can work very smoothly. They can work there, and this is the way they can finish the jobs nicely without any troubles. They can show it, and the relations with the entire the relationships also to be good, like friendly atmosphere to be developed, so that employee and employer the differences should not be there, and whatever that they can openly they can the voice should be clear. I mean, in the sense of whatever they are mind, they can approach the management easily, and some win-win situation, both a win-win situation will be there. Then only we can survive. Then only we can grow the companies and nicely. So, okay. So thank you very much. So I think in future also we can see it. So now, so okay. So anyway. So I think now the second, I think we can go for the block number 2. There we can tomorrow we can discuss about these things in the other way. So and further we can develop to see after the requirement of the after the recruitment of people, how to train them, what type of what job tax their job analysis part is there, and there how to make the specifications and how to make them active work can be given so that they can perform. Best people can be right people can be put in the right positions. That has to be seen from the HR side. And finally, effectiveness of the company, objectives of the individuals, objectives of the HRM, and objectives of the company has to be maintained and should be aligned with a in an integrated way. They have to see it so that overall, in the end of the day, overall efficiency can be countable. So this is the way you have to finish it, and you have to do it to work. And in your finally, another objective is that healthness. Nowadays you have to health is very important. So okay, thank you very much. So namaste.